a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Raymond de la Roche. Raymond de la Roche, born Elise Raymond Derouc, was a French pilot and the first woman in the world to receive an aeroplane pilot's license. Early life. Born on the 22nd of August 1882 in Paris, Elise Raymond Derouc was the daughter of a plumber. She had a fondness for sports as a child, as well as for motorcycles and automobiles when she was older. As a young woman she became an actress and used the stage name, Raymond de la Roche. Inspired by Wilbur Wright's 1908 demonstrations of powered flight in Paris and being personally acquainted with several aviators, including artist-turned-aviator Léon de Largonge, who was reputed to be the father of her son André, de la Roche determined to take up flying for herself. Achievements in aviation. In October 1909, de la Roche appealed to her friend, aviator and aeroplane builder Charles Voisin, to instruct her in how to fly. On the 22nd of October 1909, de la Roche went to the Voisin brothers' base of operations at Chalon, 90 miles east of Paris. Voisin aircraft could seat only one person, so she operated the plane by herself while he stood on the ground and gave instructions. After she mastered taxiing around the airfield, she lifted off and flew 300 yards. De la Roche's flight is often cited as the first by a woman in a powered heavier-than aircraft. There is evidence that two other women, P. van Pottelsberger and Thérèse Peltier, had flown the previous year with Henri Farman and de Largonge respectively as passengers, but not as pilots. Decades later, aviation journalist Harry Harper wrote that until de la Roche made her celebrated flight on the Voisin, she had only flown once, for a short hop, as a passenger. When she first took the controls, Charles Voisin expressly forbade her to attempt a flight, and after taxiing twice across the airfield, she took off, flying 10 or 15 feet high, and handling the controls with cool, quick precision. Although Gabriel Voisin wrote, "My brother was entirely under her thumb," the story of de la Roche as a headstrong woman making the flight after scant preparation and against Voisin orders almost certainly romanticizes what actually took place. Flight magazine, a week after the flight, reported, "For some time the Baroness has been taking lessons from M. Chateau, the Voisin instructor, at Chalon, and on Friday of last week she was able to take the wheel for the first time." This initial voyage into the air was only a very short one, and terra firma was regained after 300 yards. Flight was also responsible for bestowing the title Baroness upon de la Roche, as she was not of noble birth. Flight added that on the following day she circled the flying field twice, the turnings being made with consummate ease. During this flight of about 4 miles there was a strong gusty wind blowing. But after the first 2 turnings the Baroness said that it did not bother her, as she had the machine completely under control. On the 8th of March 1910, de la Roche became the first woman in the world to receive a pilot license. When the Aero Club of France issued her license 6 of the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, de la Roche participated in aviation meetings at Heliopolis in Egypt as well as St. Petersburg, Budapest, and Rouen. During the show in St. Petersburg, she was personally congratulated by Tsar Nicholas II. There, she was presented once again as Baroness de la Roche. Thereafter, the title became commonly used. In July 1910, de la Roche was participating in the week-long air show at Reims in France. On the 8th of July, her aeroplane crashed, and she suffered such severe injuries that her recovery was in doubt, but 2 years later, she was fit again and had returned to flying. On the 26th of September 1912, she and Charles Voisin were involved in a car crash. Voisin was killed, and she was severely injured. On the 25th of November 1913 de la Roche won the Aero Club of France's Femina Cup for a non-stop long-distance flight of over 4 hours duration. During World War I, as flying was considered too dangerous for women, she served as a military driver, chauffeuring officers from the rear zones to the front under fire. In June 1919 de la Roche set 2 women's altitude records, one at 15,700 feet and also the women's distance record, at 201 miles. Death and legacy. On the 18th of July 1919 de la Roche, who was a talented engineer, went to the airfield at Le Croix as part of her plan to become the first professional woman test pilot. She co-piloted an experimental aircraft. On its landing approach, the aeroplane went into a dive and crashed, killing both Delaroche and the co-pilot. There is a statue of Delaroche at Le Bourget Airport in France. From 6 March to the 12th of March 2010, to celebrate the centennial of licensed women pilots. Women pilots from 8 countries on 3 continents used 20 types of aircraft to establish a new world record. 225 girls and women introduced to piloting by a woman pilot in 1 week. Women of Aviation Worldwide Week is held annually during the week including the 8th of March, which marks the anniversary of Raymond Delaroche's pilot license and International Women's Day, and aims to foster diversity in aviation by celebrating women's history, raising awareness of aviation's opportunities among girls and women, and shaping the future by introducing girls and women to aviation through industry-wide collaboration. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?